Don't be fooled by whiteboard debates and formation graphics. According to Ruben Amorim, the real problem at Manchester United this season is not the system at all. It is intensity. As the Premier League returns this weekend with United hosting Everton at Old Trafford, Amorim has drawn a clear line. When asked about the matches where his team struggled, he did not hide. He said the issue was not the lineup or the formation, but a lack of aggression, a lack of conviction. A lack of that edge that turns a good structure into a winning one. For him, the starting 11 is only the beginning. What really decides games is how dynamic, confident, and intense his players are once the whistle goes. That message lands very differently if you remember where Manchester United were when Amorim walked through the door. He arrived in November 2024 to find a club sitting 13th in the league. Weighed down by a decade of false starts after Sir Alex Ferguson, the team did manage a run to the Europa League final, but in the Premier League they sank to 15th, the lowest finish of the modern era, and a reminder of how far United had fallen from the side that once set the standard in English football. Many coaches would have been swept away by that kind of season, but the board chose a different path. They doubled down on Amorim's project. They accepted that a bold, possession-based, high-pressing style might look messy at first in England. They backed his insistence on a three-at-the-back framework and on reshaping the squad, particularly in attack. That support, Amorim says, allowed him to stick to a clear roadmap, even when results and noise from outside made it tempting to compromise. Fast forward to now, and the landscape looks different. United sits 7th in the 2025-2026 Premier League table with 18 points from 11 games. Just 1 point off the top 4 and 7 off first place. The goal difference is only +1, so this is no finished article, but the trend matters. Unbeaten in 6 of their last 7 league matches, and finally stringing results together, rather than lurching from one extreme to another. The turning points have been specific matches, not just a vague sense of improvement. Back-to-back 2-1 wins over Chelsea and Liverpool did more than just add 6 points. They gave the team proof that Amorim's ideas could work against top opposition in high-pressure situations. In those games, United were aggressive without being reckless, brave on the ball without overplaying, and willing to match elite midfields stride for stride. Those nights did not erase the problems, but they papered over enough cracks to buy time and, more importantly, belief. Then came the 2-2 draw away to Tottenham just before the international break. United were far from perfect. They let Spurs wrestle control for large spells and looked vulnerable when they dropped their intensity. But they refused to go away. Brian Mbeumo opened the scoring. Spurs turned it around. And deep into stoppage time, Matthijs de Ligt powered home a header from a corner to rescue a point in the 95th minute. That goal mattered technically. It extended United's unbeaten league run. But it mattered even more symbolically. It said this United no longer accept defeat when there is still a set piece to fight for. De Ligt himself is a perfect example of what Amorim is trying to build. After difficult periods at Juventus and Bayern, interrupted by injuries and criticism, he arrived at Old Trafford carrying a heavy weight of expectation. His first year in red was uneven. This season, under Amorim, he looks transformed. He is playing every minute, leading the defensive line, dominating aerial duels, and stepping into midfield when United build from the back. His resurgence has not just been noticed inside the club. It has also earned him a recall to the national team and praise for finally delivering on the potential he showed at Ajax. Ask De Ligt what changed, and he talks about confidence, rhythm, a manager who trusts him in a back three. Ask Amorim, and he will give you the same answer he gives about the team. Structure matters, but intensity turns structure into dominance. A back three is just a drawing if the players in it do not attack duels, step forward aggressively, and communicate with the midfield in front of them. This is where Amorim's background at Sporting becomes crucial to understanding what he is trying to do at United. In Portugal, he built a side that broke a long title drought, won multiple league trophies and domestic cups, and turned Sporting into a modern pressing machine. His teams there were organized, but they were also relentless out of possession. They swarmed second balls, attacked transitions, and played with a hunger that made up for a budget smaller than their rivals. That track record of turning structure and intensity into trophies is one of the main reasons United were willing to ride out a rocky first season. The interesting thing now is that Amorim is not blaming the past or hiding behind that CV. He's facing the current flaws head-on. When he says the issue is not the 11 players on the pitch, but their intensity, he is challenging his own group. He is telling them that the jump from 15th to 7th is encouraging, but not enough, because a team that wants to win big trophies cannot afford 15-minute spells where it stops sprinting, stops pressing, stops believing. Listen to how he frames it. The system is just the start, he says. After that, United must be dynamic, confident, and play with real energy. Dynamic points to movement off the ball, rotations between lines, wing-backs overlapping at the right moments. Confident is about taking responsibility on the ball, punching passes forward instead of hiding, calling for the ball under pressure and accepting that mistakes will happen. Intensity is the non-negotiable. How hard you sprint, how quickly you react when possession is lost, how ready you are to make repeat runs in the 85th minute, and how willing you are to press again even when your legs are burning. Inside the dressing room, that message seems to have landed. Senior players speak about a group that feels calmer but more demanding, where mistakes are analyzed within the structure, rather than used as excuses to abandon the plan. That shift aligns with what we see on the pitch, a United side still capable of dips, but far less likely to collapse completely after conceding, or after a piece of misfortune, like a deflected goal or a controversial decision. The upcoming match against Everton is a perfect test of Amorim's theory. On paper, United at Old Trafford against a team sitting in the lower half of the table is the kind of fixture they should win. In reality, these have often been the matches where intensity drops. The crowd expects 3 points. The tempo slows. United dominate the ball without turning it into pressure. 1 mistake at the back, 1 set piece, and suddenly they're chasing a game they were supposed to control. If Amorim is right, and the biggest issue is intensity rather than formation, then the first 15 minutes against Everton will tell us a lot. We will see how quickly United press, how aggressively they attack second balls, whether the forwards and midfielders hunt in packs or jog back into shape. There is also a bigger picture here. Amorim is trying to reset how United think about their own identity. For a decade, the club has lurched between managerial styles, from possession purists to counter-attacking specialists, from disciplinarians to man managers. Each time, a new shape and a new buzzword were supposed to fix everything. Amorim is subtly pushing back against that culture. His system is clearly defined. The back three, the wing-backs, the flexible front line. But he keeps bringing the conversation back to behaviors. How brave are you on the ball? How quickly do you react when it's lost? How willing are you to run when the camera is not following you? How often do you make the extra sprint to close down a passing lane or support a teammate? Another under-discussed part of this project is the board's role. Amorim has said that in the toughest moments, when United were stuck near the bottom last season, and when the start of this campaign was shaky, he still felt strong support from above. That has allowed him to make hard calls, including phasing out or benching big-name players whose intensity did not match the new standard. For a dressing room that has sometimes been accused of player power and clicks, that club-wide alignment sends a message. The manager is here to stay, and the path he has chosen will not be abandoned because of a few bad weeks. For the fans, the message is equally direct. Amorim has asked them to understand that there is a clear direction, even if the destination is still far away. United are not yet the kind of side that can walk onto any pitch expecting to win every game. But they are far from the disorganized unit that finished 15th. Being realistic about that gap is part of the process. Every step up the table, every away result at a traditional rival, is evidence that the work is going somewhere. It's also worth looking at the training ground to understand where this emphasis on intensity shows up. Sessions under Amorim are high tempo, with repeated small-sided games that replicate match pressure. Players are asked to defend large spaces, to press in units, to recover quickly after losing the ball. Fitness staff track the number of high-speed runs and sprints. Video analysts highlight not just tactical positioning, but reaction time. Who moves first when possession is lost? Who hesitates? Who steps up to lead the press? In that environment, intensity is not just a buzzword. It is measured, reviewed, and demanded. Young players in particular are being held to that standard for academy. Graduates and recent signings, the message is that technical quality is only a ticket to the conversation. To stay in the team, you must deliver the work off the ball that this system requires. That has created competition in areas where United previously lacked it. A forward who jogs back after losing the ball quickly finds himself replaced by someone who will sprint. A midfielder who hides from the ball under pressure is shown clips of teammates taking responsibility instead. Yet, for all the structure and demands, Amorim is not pretending that intensity alone is magic. He knows the squad still has holes. The midfield is still being rebuilt. Depth in certain positions remains a concern. There will be games where tired legs and fixture congestion test the physical and mental limits of this group. What he is arguing is simpler. Whatever tactical plan he draws up, it only comes alive if the players execute it at full speed. That is why he keeps repeating that Manchester United are far from perfect. It is not false modesty. It is a warning and a challenge. The foundation has been laid. The team has climbed from 15th to 7th. They have shown they can stand up to big opponents on the biggest stages. The manager has a proven record of turning talent into titles elsewhere. Now comes the hard part, doing it every week, against every opponent, home and away, whether the stadium is electric or half asleep, whether the opponent is a title rival or a team fighting relegation. So as United walk out against Everton and the Premier League calendar accelerates into the winter, the question is not whether Ruben Amorim's tactics are good enough. The question is whether his players can deliver the intensity he demands, not just in headline games, but in the grind of the season. It is about whether the behaviors he talks about in interviews become habits that define this team. In the end, the real verdict on his diagnosis will not come in a press conference clip or a tactical explainer. It will come in the way Manchester United run, press, and compete in those quiet, tense spells when nobody is talking about formations and everything is decided by who is willing to go that one step harder. If the manager is right, and the system is already good enough, and the only thing separating this United from the version he wants to build is how often they are ready to play at full tilt. The real question is simple. Can Manchester United turn Amorim's talk about intensity into a non-negotiable habit? Or will they keep blaming the drawing on the tactics board when results slip away?